what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Hello and welcome to another fantastic episode of I Guess I'll Do It with Pat House, a podcast where I talk to my comedian buddies about their careers. Today, I have a fantastic comic on. I see her name everywhere. She's all over the country, has worked with incredible comics, and does her own headlining shit as well. Today, I have the hilarious Irene Tu. Irene, what is up?
Thanks for having me, Pat. How are you?
I'm doing very well. It's good to see you.
I know. I haven't seen you in like a minute.
It's been a while. And you know what? I was thinking of today. I'm always a big fan of starting off the podcast by explaining where we met. So you cut your teeth in San Fran.
Yeah.
And I am from Philadelphia. But we met in Portland, Oregon first, and then Burlington, Vermont second. I remember that.
Well, I remember the Burlington, Vermont. When did we meet in Portland?
Were you there for the All Jane Comedy Festival?
Yes.
Joanne Schinderly, who was my very first guest on this podcast ever, had an afternoon bar show, and I was there just hanging out.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I don't remember that.
Okay, fair enough. I was at Helium that weekend, and I just hung at the bar comedy show in the afternoon. That's all.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense.
There.
Cool.
And we met there. So I don't even know if we've ever met or hung out in our respective cities. But that's comedy. But that's totally comedy.
I can't remember if you were in San Francisco when I was in San Francisco one time. Or
Maybe.
If you just like asked me if there were like shows in town.
I've popped through a couple times, but have you done comedy in Philly?
No, I've never done comedy in Philly.
No, never? Oh.
Yeah.
You got to get on that. We have a punchline here. You're headlining the San Fran punchline next month.
I know, but it's not the same booker, I don't think.
Really?
That's what I heard. I heard there's like a Philly booker.
Well, I can help you with that, so that's not a problem.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm not saying I can get you booked, but I can get you the appropriate name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to guarantee a booking at a club as a fellow comic, but I'll try to point you in the right direction.
That would be pretty epic, actually.
Yeah, it would be. So how are you? How are things? How's your 2022?
Pretty good, actually. I'm jazzed about how things are going. You know, still not famous, but
Makes two of us.
trucking along.
Makes two of us, man. Dude, I see your Instagram all the time. You are popping up all over everywhere doing all sorts of cool things. It's awesome.
Look, is that real or is that just Instagram? Nobody knows.
I mean, it is Instagram, but I see you posting photos and videos of you at comedy clubs around the country, so I trust that's real.
Okay, that is real.
And then you're not a psychopath who's taking the time to Photoshop yourself in front of the Comedy Attic backdrop at home.
That would be insane.
That would be insane, but I guarantee you there are some comics that are so batshit crazy they would do that.
Do you remember when like open mic comics would like go up at the club on like a bringer show and then post that they like are a regular at the club?
Oh man. Yes, absolutely. And I remember a couple times at the Helium in Philly is my home club. And I remember numerous times comics would come through with a manager, and I'm air quoting manager, and they would try to talk to the legit club manager, and they would not give a fuck. It is Tuesday. There's 85 comics here. 20 are going to get on the list. And this guy shows up with a manager, like, way to never get on the list.
Yeah. Also, comedy club bookers / owners notoriously hate working with managers.
That's also true. I remember one time, I swear to God, I forgot to remember this now. I watched a comic do his very first open mic, which is totally, we all have done it. But then he had a bottle of champagne with him. And I'm like, wow.
To like celebrate that he did his first open mic? Well,
yeah.
It's going to be a long road for you, buddy.
And he just sat in the green room sipping on it. And I mean, more respect to you, but man, way to just get your balls busted from the very first set.
It's like, oh, let's not talk to this guy ever.
But it looks like you're busy, and that's awesome. And you and I have been buddies for a couple years now. We never cross paths, but that's comedy. I am a big fan of your stuff. I watch all your clips, but I don't know where you got started. So we all get in this for a reason. Tell me what happened.
Yeah, I didn't know I was going to do comedy either. Long story short is that a girl that I had a crush on told me I was funny. And then I kind of looked into doing comedy when I was in high school. And I took like classes at the Second City and just like, I like started taking improv classes and stand-up classes.
Where are you from
And
originally?
I'm from Chicago.
Oh, I did
Yeah,
not know
yeah.
that. I just assumed San Fran because I guess that's where you
I
started
know a
your
lot of
career.
people
But
think I'm from San Francisco just because like I did stand up there for so many years. And
exactly, and I
yeah.
feel like as comic, like I have that probably tied to a lot of people from certain cities, even though it may mean absolutely
Are
nothing.
you from Philly?
Yes, immediate suburbs, but yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from like Chicago, but like the suburbs.
Yeah, same thing
Yeah.
with me and Phil. Oh, I had no idea. So then what brought you to San Fran?
So I like always wanted to live in San Francisco, or like I wanted to move to California. And then I ended up going to school at Berkeley. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah.
Very, very cool. Yeah, San Fran's such a cool city. I've said it before on this podcast quite a number of times. The San Fran Punchline is my favorite club, like in the entire country.
Always the best club.
I'm biased to Helium in Philly because it's my home club and I recorded all my albums there and I love it. But the San Fran Punchline is just comedy heaven.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's just the best club.
Yeah,
The
I was
staff
there.
is also incredible.
Oh, the staff are so awesome. I mean, and I love that, it's a great staff when you come back year after year after year and there's a pandemic and then you go back and then most of the staff is still there.
Yeah, they have some new people,
They
but
do.
yeah, they still have some of the people have been there like forever.
Yeah, it's everything about that club is perfect for comedy and the staff makes it even better.
Yeah.
So where did you do your very first set?
I took a comedy class when I was in high school. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool because that's really young.
Well, yeah, it wasn't like I was 30 taking a comedy class because I feel like comics always shit on comedy classes. But
And
I
they
was,
do, but they serve
yeah,
a purpose.
yeah. Well, I literally didn't know how to get started doing comedy. I was like, I don't know what, 15. Like I couldn't go to most of the open mics because they're at bars.
That's so young. Like Chappelle was 14 when he started. And was it Todd Glass? Somebody else was crazy young. I was 19,
Yeah.
so I still had teen on my
Yeah, I think I was like
age.
15, 16. So I took a class, but then I didn't really do stand up for like the next couple years, really. Like I would do it like occasionally, but I ended up trying to do more like improv and sketch for the next few
Okay.
years. And then when I was 19, I like started again trying to do it when I was in college.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
What were your interests in comedy when you were younger? Like, was it just a girl you had a crush on who told you were funny, or did you love SNL and comedy movies your whole childhood, or?
Yeah, so I never watched SNL. To this day, I think I've maybe seen like 2 full episodes of SNL. You know what I mean? Like I'll watch.
You are a comedian anomaly.
I'll like watch the clips on like Instagram now, and like sometimes I'll if it pops up, but because like friends of mine are on the show. So it's like cool to watch it, but I never like sit down to watch all of SNL. That's not what I grew up watching. It's funny to me. I just like never stay up to watch it. But when I was a kid, I loved like cartoons. Like that was like my form of comedy. Like I religiously would watch cartoons.
Which ones?
My favorite was like Rocket Power, where I don't know if you watched it. It was like these kids that like would do extreme sports. They would like go surfing and like skateboarding and snowboarding. And I thought that was so fun. I loved SpongeBob. Huge SpongeBob fan. My mom wouldn't let me watch Rugrats because she thought Angelica was too mean. She was like, she's a bitch, basically. So I wasn't allowed to watch Rugrats. But basically I watched like any cartoon that was on Nickelodeon and then some of the stuff on like Cartoon Network. I liked, speaking of a sketch show, I liked The Amanda Show. Did you ever watch that? The Amanda Bynes Show, basically? That when she had a Nickelodeon?
Not religiously, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, she had those like dancing lobsters.
Yeah. And I remember all that was like...
Yeah, all that was really... That was
show.
huge. That was huge.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid. Yeah.
Hold on. How old are you? We're in the same age range.
I mean... I can't tell you because of Hollywood, but I'm probably slightly younger than you.
Okay, that's exactly what I was getting at. Based off the shows you watched, I had a feeling you were slightly behind me.
Yeah.
And I won't divulge my magic.
I was a big 90s kid. Let's go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
As was I. I probably just started a little bit ahead of you in the early 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, by the 90s, you mean 80s. Okay, gotcha.
That's awesome, though. Cartoons, I mean, I liked cartoons, but never had the passion you did for them. But I did love, like, cartoons in the newspaper. I was going to call them still cartoons. Like Gary
Like
Larson's
comic strips?
Comic strips, yeah. Gary
Yeah.
Larson's The Far Side, to this day, is still one of the funniest comic strips I have ever seen.
I actually never seen that one.
It still holds up. Oh, man. He had that in print for years and years and years. It's really funny. A lot of it's about like animals, and there's some social commentary, but it is really, really funny.
Yeah, I also read a lot of Garfield.
Oh, Garfield,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Odie, all that good stuff.
Him bullying Odie and
yeah. A lot of my childhood friends were big fans of Dilbert. Remember that one?
Yeah, that one didn't like speak to me as much because I felt like you had to be more of an adult.
Neither. Yeah, and it's like it's a cartoon for kids, but it's like corporate jargon.
Exactly, where I'm like, I don't really relate to this.
When did you first discover that you really loved stand-up? I mean, because you said you took the class and then you didn't do it that often. Did you have a moment where you had like a killer set or did such a cool show and you're just like, holy shit, this is it. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think I ever really had that moment where I was like, I'm going to be a stand-up. This is it. I kind of just started doing it again, and I would get like positive feedback from like comics or audience members where I was like, okay, I feel like I'm decently good at this, or I can get somewhere with stand-up, but I never had an aha moment.
I guess, I mean, I think I definitely have. I don't know if it was an aha moment or just like, hey, I'm going to let this ruin my life kind of moment. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like I've been doing it for quite some time, but it's still not, bringing in the dough I would like it to. But I mean, I think I definitely had the aha moment, probably on my very first set where it's like, man, I'm going to do this until I either hate it or something happens.
Yeah, it's crazy because people will ask me about like my very first set and I don't remember anything about it.
That's wild because that is the whole premise of my podcast.
I remember it because technically my very first set would have been like my graduation for my comedy class that I took.
Which is a lot of guests
makes sense.
That,
but I think we all did like 5-minute sets, and it was a really small class. It was like only like 3 people in the class.
Oh, that's really small.
Yeah, I think it was like not supposed to be that small. It just happened to be a really small class, and I like the other 2 people in it. One of the other guys was really funny. I don't know if he like still does stand up. But I remember we did it in this like small room. It was called the DeMott Theater at Second City at the time. I don't know if they changed the name of it, but it was like a little classroom, black box seat, very small theater at the Second City. We did it for like friends and family. I don't think I even told my parents to come because I'm like, I don't need you to see me do this.
Oh, did you tell them you were doing it in the first place?
I don't think I mentioned it at all because they would like drop me off to go to class like every Saturday, but then they would pick me up and they'd be like, how'd class go? And I'm like, great. But like, I never was like, come see me. Like, I'm not that person.
I think my college roommate knew because he saw my first couple sets, but I think I kept stand-up under my hat for a couple months because one, I think I didn't know how to approach the subject, but I really didn't want to suck. And granted, we all suck when we're new, but I just wanted to make sure I had like a good 3 or 4 minutes. That's all.
Oh, totally. I didn't want people that I love to see me just bomb.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm amazed when people are like, yeah, I'm doing my first set and I invited 40 people. I'm like, you're a monster.
Those people have either crazy high self-esteem or just oblivious to how bad they are. I don't know what it. I could never. A certain
breed of people. I could never. I don't even think I told my own mother until I'd been doing it for like 3 or 4 months. And I'm like, hey, I've been doing comedy open mics, and she's like, that's cool. I'm like, all right. Anything else we need to talk about? Like. Not that I was embarrassed, but I was like, oh, this is such a weird thing to bring up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's also like one of those things where it's like my family like was never like into comedy or they don't really care about it. So I don't think they would have any feedback that would help.
Yeah.
You know?
Did they have any sort of, did they watch funny movies? Did they listen to Carlin and Pryor? And
that's what I'm saying. They don't know anything about comedy. So it's like, they'll just be like, oh, cool, you did the thing, you were on stage. You know, they're not going to be like, oh, like, you should listen to this. You know, like, they have no actual feedback to give me besides they're like my parents. And they're like,
how was it the first time they saw you?
I don't remember that either.
Okay, we got to have a whole separate podcast with you because
I have a horrible memory. Like, I have like really great short-term memory. Like, I'm really good at like taking like tests and stuff. But if you ask me long-term memories, just huge empty swaths in my brain.
Oh, I'm the total opposite. Like I can recall pinpoint accuracy with stuff that happened forever ago, but like I couldn't tell you where I parked my car when I go like to Target or something.
Well, that I also have trouble with, but who knows where they parked their car, really, you know?
What's been one of your favorite memories in comedy so far? Do you have any moments or any particular shows where that really stood out to you, where it's something like a wow kind of moment?
I guess
Because you've done a lot of cool shit. I mean, you've done stuff with Patton,
yeah,
you know,
Pat Oswalt, yeah.
Mike Birbiglia, who
Yeah.
was very monumental early in my career to me. Great guy.
Those were all great shows. Anytime I've done like a theater with like a big headliner, those have always been very fun and memorable, where I'm like, yeah, that was great. You know, like I've never had like a bad time doing a theater show with like a famous comic, you know?
Oh, you are missing out.
Yeah.
You are missing
Who
out.
did you do a bad theater show with?
Oh, I can tell you a lot. Sebastian Maniscalco, I have had several less than favorable sets with him in theaters.
Really?
All of them on Long Island, if you want to get specific.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I've
that's more of a location issue.
It is, but I mean, a lot of those crowds had way more than 1,000 or 2,000 people in the crowd.
Yeah, that's brutal. Yeah, I think all the ones I've done have been in like cities where I usually do pretty well in. You know.
Yeah, of course. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had way, way, way more great sets in theaters than bad ones, but like a theater bomb is something else.
Oh, can't wait for that! Damn.
You're sitting in your hotel room like, God damn, 3,000 people just saw me eat it.
It does suck when you like open for a big comic in a theater, because you can see the people walking in late.
Oh my God, yeah. Especially
your whole set.
If it's like tiered seating and you see the silhouettes in the doorways coming in, or you see the people, the whole row standing up as the men and women have their beer and wine, trying not to drop it. You're like, there's 8,000 distractions in front of me right now.
And it's always like people in the front row. Like they're really late.
They're always like the least to get settled too. And they're the ones that are also in the stage lights, like just as much as us.
I know. So it's like, oh, I can fully see you're here 15 minutes into my set. You're just strolling on in. I have to pretend that's not happening, do my set, and not be pissed.
I've noticed too that like doing a big theater show, it goes one of two ways. This crowd either loves you and trusts you right off the bat because you're opening for so-and-so and they know they're in for a good show, or they don't give a shit about you because all they are there to see is the headliner.
Yeah, that's true. No, I just remembered there was one show that I did with Patton and the crowd was weird. It was at the Fox in Oakland.
Okay.
They were like maybe too high / drunk / I don't know what it was, but they were yelling a lot of stuff out. Not as much during my set, but like definitely during his set.
Oh, that sucks.
It was a weird vibe.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely happens too. And I saw that with Sebastian at the time. This is 2017. We're doing a lot of theater shows and his fans are coming out in droves. And he would typically do like, honestly, like 80 minutes, 90 if the crowd was really into him. And we had 12 shows at the Paramount Theater. And on like 2 of those shows, he barely hit an hour. And one show, he literally came off set and said, fuck these people. Like, so I kind of respect that he had the ball in his court. I mean, the crowd had no idea what they missed, but some of these crowds were so talkative and chatty and disruptive that they robbed themselves of like 35 more minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But those are very few and far between. And again, my specific theater horror stories are specifically tied to Long Island.
Yeah.
No offense to those people, but Long Island. Anyway.
I don't think I've ever performed in Long Island.
I mean,
well, because I don't do the East Coast that much. So,
what were you doing? Do you do a lot of colleges?
I did when I was doing a bunch of colleges. I did do a bunch of them in the Northeast. Like I would do like.
Yeah, I think you were at a college because I was at Burlington or Vermont Comedy Club with Todd
I was in
Glass.
Vermont. Yeah.
I remember
that's
that.
what happened. Yeah, but I don't do as many colleges anymore. So.
Okay, did you like doing colleges?
Well, I don't do them as much anymore because I don't like them that much, you know? Like, well, I'm not famous, so it's like, it's never sold out or, you know, it's never like packed.
I know, you're
it's
always
like a
in the
random
student
college.
center.
It's a
Yeah.
random college in a cafeteria. Sometimes it's like in the afternoon.
Oh yeah.
And the travel's brutal because I have to like fly in and drive to wherever this random college is, do a show for like not that many people. Don't do that well. And then leave.
And a long car drive back to the airport.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like I don't think I've ever like bombed at a college, but I've had many sets where I didn't feel good after doing a college.
Oh yeah. I didn't even do that many colleges. I probably done between 15 and 20,
Yeah.
and it's 50-50.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had a couple good ones, but
so did I. I definitely had a couple good ones, and I had a couple weird sets at my own college too. Now that I think about it,
really,
yeah, I've had a lot of good sets. I went to Temple University, and I had a couple of good sets there. But I remember one time in particular just bombing, and I was like, man, like I went here. You guys got to give me something. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking about being here too. I'm doing these jokes could not be more specific if I tried.
and they're like, nope, we don't want that.
When you opened for Patton and Birbiglia, did they both reach out to you?
Yeah, Patton's manager saw me, and that's how I started opening for Patton. And
Very
then,
cool.
And then Birbiglia I had met, and his opener couldn't do the show, and then he asked me to do it.
Awesome.
One of
Isn't
the
it
shows,
crazy
yeah.
when things just fall in line like that? It's
Yeah, it was
one of
pretty
the
nice.
the coolest things the comedy universe throws at you.
Yeah. It's pretty nice. Pretty
Yeah.
nice.
Pretty nice. What's next on tap for you? What are you looking forward to coming up soon?
So I'm like starting to headline more now, like clubs and stuff. Or like I'm slowly doing weekends, which is great, but
Yeah.
also tough because I have to like sell tickets now, and it's hard when you're not famous.
Dude, I'm in the same boat. I
Yeah.
am 100% in the same boat. I just headlined the upstairs room at the Helium Indianapolis. I'm headlining a casino this weekend. I hear you.
Especially it's like if it's like a city you've never done before. Like I'm doing St. Paul, Minnesota, in a couple weeks. I don't know when this episode drops, but
2
yeah, and
weeks.
I've never. Oh, this might come out right before I'm doing the weekend.
Okay.
So if you live in Minneapolis or St. Paul, please come see me. Just go on my website. But I've never performed in Minnesota, so it's hard for me to like, hey, come see me. I've literally never been in the state besides at a like during a layover at the airport.
Yeah, the first time I did the Helium in Indianapolis, I was headlining, and I've never stepped foot in Indiana before. Luckily, people showed up at both shows, but I mean, I was completely relying on strangers and walk-ups.
Oh, 100%.
So you're just throwing hope to the wind.
Yeah, I'm like telling anybody who I think knows people in Minnesota, I'm like, just tell your friends. I don't know. I tried to make an ad on Facebook. I don't know how that works.
I have done.
I don't know
that
if
before.
it works.
I've done that before and gotten backlash. Like I posted.
Really?
I forget what city it was because I don't know I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I suck at
same.
technology. So like I posted. I forget what city it was, but I posted an ad or something with like a short clip of me and boosted it or targeted that ad to a certain city.
Yeah.
And then people just flooded my Facebook fan page with like saying it's spam and sending me memes back and being like really mean to me.
Oh my God.
And I was like, it was an accident. And also like, I'm sorry, something you didn't like appeared in your feed. Why do you have to take 2 minutes out of your day to be an asshole? Just keep scrolling like the rest of us do.
That's so crazy.
It does make for a funny story. I told that on stage a couple times, but
that's funny. Wow. Huh.
But yeah,
Interesting.
but that's all part of the process. I mean, I remember one time years ago, Jimmy Pardo told me he was headlining in Cleveland for the first time, and it was like a rough week. It's what you got to do.
Yeah,
it's part of the whole process. Where else are you going coming up? I saw you're in Minneapolis. And
I'm in Minneapolis. I'm in. I think I'm doing the Comedy Fort in like March. Have you done that one? That's in Fort Collins.
Fort Collins. No,
yeah.
I've emailed them and I've heard such awesome things.
Yeah, so I'm doing that one like next year. But I'm really excited. I'm doing my first full headlining weekend at the Punchline in San Francisco for Thanksgiving weekend. So that one I'm stoked about. And that is like the one city I could probably sell like the weekend.
Well, there's a reason I do the Helium in Philly every November. I mean, it's my well, it's been tradition now, but I mean, it's my most confident weekend of the year. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying I'm going to completely sell out all the shows, but I mean, we will get 70% there across the whole board.
Right. If the weekend doesn't sell well, I will be personally offended.
Actually, hold on. Let me backtrack 20 minutes. We have met in San Fran because I remember following you on the Sunday showcase.
Oh, really? I was just going to say, I was like, I can't remember if we did the Sunday showcase together or if I just saw that you were there.
It was my first weekend there. I headlined the showcase Wednesday and Thursday. Then I was the feature Friday and Saturday. And then I did the showcase. And that's right. I went on directly after you and you fucking crushed. I remember that because I remember thinking, oh, I can't follow this. And
I'm sure you did, but I have no recollection of this memory.
It was a great set, but I remember you absolutely murdering. So yes, we did meet in San Fran, and I went on after you.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, who did you feature for that weekend?
That weekend was Barry Rothbart.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that was a fun weekend. And then I came back with Dan Cummins to do the Punchline, and then I was just there in July with Chris Porter, and I headlined on Tuesday, and it was. Okay, again, speaking of cities where I'm not from, I'm headlining a Tuesday in a city 3,000 miles from home, and we still had 100 people there.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, they blew up the mailing list, and, I have family out there, so some people I know came out, but I mean...
Yeah, and you've been there a few times now, too.
Yeah, but not enough to get 100 people back on a Tuesday.
Sure.
But I remember just hoping for 30 people, and about 100 were there, so that was really
great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
and it was a lot of fun.
I love their off night shows. Like the Tuesday, Wednesdays are like really good.
Yeah, I remember the first time I did the Wednesday, Thursday there, and the crowds wasn't sold out, but it was like more than half full. And I'm like, this is really cool. And they're just smart and they get it.
Yeah.
The little references, the subtleties.
Sometimes, like, I think the Thursday and Tuesday shows are better than the weekend shows.
They can be, especially...
Because I feel like it's like the dedicated comedy fans.
They are.
You know what I mean?
Weekends are more date night. They get a babysitter, They spend money, they pay for parking. Like, it's date night, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and that can be good, too.
Absolutely. I mean, we all have killer weekend shows, but yeah, you tend to get the real comedy nerds and the real fans out during the week, which, I mean, myself as well. That's when I used to go to shows all the time. So
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that club's up there for the book. Sacramento's really cool, too.
I also really love Sack Punch.
I only did that one time, but I'm going to hit them up again because I really had a really fun week there.
Yeah, the crowds are really fun at that club.
Remember, I was going to the Sacramento Punchline and I had like a box of CDs on me and like some merch, and then it kept taking me to like Mattress Warehouse.
Oh.
And I like had to go in the store and ask for directions, and I just felt like the biggest dork.
That's so funny. I mean, you know, it's right next to that mattress store.
Well, I didn't, because that was the Thursday show of the week. I had never been before.
That's funny.
But I'm like, this is where my phone GPS is taking me, and like, what was it, like a Bed Bath and Beyond or something?
No, it's not a Bed Bath and Beyond, but it is some kind of
store. It's like
no, it is a mattress store. I don't remember. It's like specifically just mattresses.
Yeah, I remember just being so lost and so embarrassed. Like, I'm a comic and I'm supposed to be here, but I don't know where to go.
They're probably like, down the street or down the hall.
They probably thought I was like some psychopath walking.
No, I'm sure they get it all the time.
They probably do. But in my defense, that's where the directions took me.
Yeah.
We got to get you to the Philly Club. That's all.
I would love to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've never performed in Philly. So.
Pretty sure. So you can't even recall if you've been to the city?
I don't. Yeah, I'm not even sure if I've ever gone to the city, which is possible. I went when I was a kid, but as an adult, I don't think I've gone. And
How about Pennsylvania? Any college gigs here?
I don't think so. No.
No.
As I was saying, I did a lot of Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, like a Connecticut, maybe Massachusetts. Like I did Northeast.
Yeah, way up there.
Yeah,
New
England.
Area.
Yeah.
Very cool. I've never done. Do you know how many states you've done stand up in? Do you keep track of that?
No, I don't keep track of any stats. Yeah.
I mean, I loosely do. I can tell you what states I've done stand up in or not, but.
If you asked me a specific state, I could probably tell you if I did it or not, but I don't know off the top of my head how many.
Have you done Alaska or Hawaii?
No.
Okay. Those two are on my list.
Yeah,
Like,
I've been to both Alaska and Hawaii, but
oh,
just
that's still
for
cool.
vacation. Yeah.
That's still cool. So, what other projects do you have in the works besides stand up? What else do you do with your writing or your comedy?
Mostly stand up, and then I'm just taking like acting classes and stuff. My whole goal is to get cast in a show
Nice.
soon. Yeah, so just auditioning and taking classes basically.
Very cool. I love talking to comics about all things writing. So, what's your writing process, or do you have one? Everybody is wildly different, and I love hearing people's method to their madness. Because some people don't even write anything down. Some people, I'm amazed by this. So, what do you do?
I would like to say I sit down every day and I write, but I do not do that.
I'm
I
convinced
I
Laurie
want to.
Kilmartin.
I want to so bad. I've never been able to do that.
I absolutely love Laurie Kilmartin. I'm a huge fan, but I'm convinced she's the only person that does that. She's talked about it so many times on Jackie and Laurie,
Yeah.
and I talked to her about it on this podcast, and I really feel like of everybody I've had on here and all the comics I talked to, I'm really convinced she's the only one that does that every single day.
Yeah, my goal at some point in the next 5 years is to make it more of a regular habit to like sit down and write jokes and stuff, but I've just never done it. Usually I'll kind of come up with an idea and then just kind of riff it on stage and then write based off of that.
You do like bullet points and then take it to the stage?
Yeah, I usually will come up with an idea. I'll jot it down my phone and I'm like, okay, this is the premise for the joke. And now I'll either kind of write the joke in my head or like mostly write it in my head and then try it on stage that way. Or I'll like bullet point it and then do it on stage and then come up with the lines on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's mostly what it is. And then when I was recording my album last year, I finally did like write my jokes or like the set list and try and put them together. And I'm like, oh, I should do this more often. This is helpful.
I am I'm just coming around to like typing jokes out. Like people have been doing this for 20 years
Yeah,
or more. But I've been like, I love hand writing stuff in notebooks. I love notebooks and I love jotting stuff down, but like ideas get lost. And when you finish a notebook, you're not looking at the old stuff anymore.
Totally.
So it's so easy for stuff to get lost. So I compiled like master set lists in my computer and I have like a couple things in my notes. And I'm like, man, this is kind of easier than like finishing a notebook and then never looking at it again and then forgetting 12 funny ideas that will never see the light of day again.
It's crazy because someone will bring up a joke that I haven't told in years where like I have to wrote the joke. I did it for a bit. I forgot. 2 people in the last year or so would be like, hey, I really like that one joke you told. And I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot I had this joke. I never finished the joke. So then I brought it back recently, a joke of mine I wrote maybe 4 years ago. I made it better. And I'm like, well, if I just typed this out and organized all my jokes, I could have finished the joke years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
so disorganized with that.
Bringing stuff back is so fun.
Yeah.
And it's also part of like being a professional too. Like if you have like to do like a longer set or if you have to do like a cleaner set or, whatever, like I've brought a couple things back in the past few months that I haven't done in a long time, including a few things from my first album almost 10 years ago. And it's like, you see it differently and you're like, man, that's actually pretty funny and you can sell it better or change it. It's kind of, I've been playing with that a little bit lately. It's a lot of fun. And it's also a little bit of a distraction from just focusing on the new stuff. New stuff is great, but if you're like, hey, this is already funny, it's already in the can, let me play with it, it's a nice little break.
Totally. And also it's really cool to see that because sometimes I'll be like, am I funny? And I'll have an old joke I never finished. I'm like, wait, I wrote this years ago, basically. It's still funny. Like, oh, the whole time I've been funny. I just forgot.
Have you ever had somebody like remind you of an old joke and then you couldn't even do it if you tried?
100%.
Like, oh yeah, you said this and you A, B, C, D, and you're like, man, if you gave me $10 right now, I couldn't piece that one together if I tried.
That's happened to me on stage where I tried to do like an old joke. In the middle of the joke, forgot how it went. And then a comic in the back of the room yells out the rest of the joke for me.
That is so funny. I love that because we all watch each other, and especially in the early days of the open mic, so much that you know all of your friends' sets.
Yep.
Like there's people that that I started with in Philly 18 years ago that quit comedy 14 years ago, but I could still do their 5 minutes because I watched them do it every single night for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I've mentioned bombing numerous times on this podcast. I do appreciate a good horror story. You got any you can recall?
I did bomb recently, and I couldn't remember what it was. But I will remember. The one bomb that like sticks out to me is I remember there was this like local show in San Francisco, and you know, like when you first start comedy, there's like a few people in the scene that you really want to impress because they've been doing it for a while, and they like seem like they're the top dogs, and you're like, well, if they think I'm funny, then I'm actually funny, or you know what I mean. So there was one of those guys in the audience. I like wanted to impress him. I don't think he had ever seen my set before. Also, he used to run like one of the like best shows in San Francisco, and I wanted to do the show. So I was like, okay, if I crush the set, they'll finally book me at the show that they refused to book me on. Which, by the way, had never been booked on that show. Then it stopped running, and then I basically ran like 5 shows in the city. So I still remember that. I don't know.
Of course you do. We all remember that kind of stuff.
I'm like, oh, you refused to book me on the show? Okay, that's fine. I don't know, because they would book comics that I didn't think were that great. And where I'm like, I mean, I think I'm equally, like, you could book me on the show, you know? So anyway, so I like wanted to impress this one comic at the show. And it's full room. Comic before me murders, destroys, like for 10 minutes, just crushing. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm about to have a great set, you know? I go up, bomb for 10 minutes, like not a single laugh for 10 whole minutes. And both of those people were watching my set.
Oh, yeah. All right. Now let's break this down. Why didn't you get the laughs? Why do you think?
I think it is traditionally very hard for me to follow a comic that is super high energy.
I would have put $1 million on that reason. Yep.
Very animated, very loud and animated, high energy, like kind of, or if you run around on stage or, you know, stuff like that, because I'm not that vibe. So if that murders right before me, I will never do that well. And I was newer, so I like couldn't figure out how to even get them a little bit.
Yeah, it takes you time to learn how to figure that situation out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to crush right after that. That's just what it is. But I bombed.
I'm not. I've been in that situation a million times as well. And now I flat out tell the crowd, I'm like, I don't have that kind of energy. We're going to bring it down.
Yep, I will do the same thing, basically, where I'm like, okay.
I'm not going to move 3 feet to my left or my right. I'm not going to raise my voice above this. So this is what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And usually, you know, you play with the wording. That's not verbatim. But I mean, you play with that, then they're already on board. It takes a minute or two. But yeah, man, I've seen a couple tornadoes on stage where I know I'm going on next. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
It also just sucks because it's usually like a comic that is kind of hacky that will do that right before, like that vibe right before I go up. It's like a loud, animated, like hackier comic. I'm not going to be able to follow that. you know?
Well, especially if it's like hacky too, because then they're just doing easy stuff that normally kills no matter what.
Yeah.
So if they're pulling out the easiest shit from a joke book and you're coming out with your original thoughts or your life story or your opinions, it's just wildly different. And that sucks. That sucks. But we've all been there as comics a million times where, like, you know, you're talking about a family member who's sick or like a really bad day you had, but it does nothing compared to like the, you know, black people fried chicken thing that just crushed before you. And you're like, I hate everything.
You're like, this stereotype. You're like, I don't have any of those.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I've been doing these jokes for a while, so they're at a place where I want them to be. But I remember last year, my stepdad was really sick in the hospital, coma, kidney failure. But I got some funny stuff out of it. And I remember following like a high energy comic who just killed. And I'm like, well, I'm about to talk about my stepdad almost dying. So here we go now. And man, was I just eating it. And then you feel like an asshole.
Yeah.
And you're like, you want to like reprimand the crowd too. Be like, this is original. It's true. It's the story of my life. I'm sorry. I'm not dancing. like,
But then you also feel bad because you're like, oh, you want to you want the audience to have a good time. So then it's like,
sometimes.
Sometimes that's true. Sometimes I'm like, you don't deserve this.
Yep. Sometimes I hope you go home angry.
Yeah. Ugh, so tough.
I love talking shop, and you're a great comic to talk about this with. I slurred my words there. I said you are a great comic to talk about this with. I don't know if that came out.
Yeah, the last few words, I was like, what did he say at the end of that sentence?
I'm also my allergies are going haywire right now, and I'm really like super self-conscious of like my sniffling right now.
Oh, I can't hear it. No, I haven't heard it.
Thank God. I've almost been like suppressing breath. I'm like listening to you talk and holding my breath and then like exhaling to the side. No. I just
Have you heard of Claritin?
Been on Zyrtec.
Oh, sure.
And still the the Mucinex and daytime NyQuil, and then Benadryl at night to knock myself out for 8 hours.
Damn.
Yeah.
Aren't you worried about when the apocalypse comes?
No. No.
And like
I'll probably be bombing on Long Island and pray for it.
No, I just mean like I feel like allergies would really suck when
here's
shit goes down. You know,
here's the when shit goes down.
Yeah, and it's like, whoa, we don't have any Claritin left. You're just gonna be sniffling the whole time.
Oh man, my allergies haven't been this bad. This is a total weird direction we're taking the podcast, but whatever. They haven't been this bad in years. And out of nowhere, the past week, it's just been an absolute nightmare.
Watch out.
Yeah, watch out. So you have Minneapolis next. I just had friends move from Minneapolis to Rhode Island, so I can't even help.
I was like, that's not helpful at all.
I know. However, I do know a handful of people in San Fran, my stepsister and my niece and nephew, and I'm absolutely gonna push them to your shows. Tell them to come if
they want to, come with their family or avoid them for Thanksgiving.
They live in Pacifica.
Oh, sure.
So not too far from San Fran.
It's a little bit of just like an hour, I think. A little bit of a trek. Yeah. Maybe like 40 minutes. Yeah.
But not too bad.
Yeah. They can make it up.
Yeah. Anything else you want to plug right here? Anything else you want to throw out there?
Oh, yeah. So, either come see me live. I got tour dates on my website, so go to IreneTu.com. Or I have an album out if you want to listen to my album, or you could do both because I'm doing new stuff on the live shows. My album is called We're Done Now, and you can find that wherever you get albums. You can buy it would be the best option, or stream it if you are a broke loser. Yeah, that's me negging you so you'll buy the album.
Absolutely, that's what half our careers are.
Yeah, but it would be much more helpful if you buy the album for my wallet. But yeah, and then follow me on social media at Irene_Tu, and come see me sometime.
Very cool. One last question here. What do you think of acting classes? In your opinion? No right or wrong answer, because I have been dabbling with the thought.
Of acting classes?
I'd love to get your opinion here.
I think there are a lot of acting classes that aren't that good, and then there are some that are good. So it really depends on like the teacher.
So it's like everything else.
It's basically like everything else. I mean, there are a lot of acting classes where it's like, oh, this is a waste of money. But I do think that it's very helpful if you do take like a good acting class. And it also depends on who's in your class. You know what I mean? It's like cool to learn from other people who are like way better actors,
Yeah, I took an acting class in college just as like an elective. It meant nothing. It was just 3 months of acting classes. And I was doing stand-up at the time. And I could do stand-up in front of hundreds of people and say intimate and personal things and really be myself on stage. But when I had to like do somebody else's dialogue or like act in a scene or yell or scream in character, I would turn bright red. It was so hard for me to portray somebody else or, portray somebody's emotions. You know what I mean?
For me, I 100% agree with you. For me, it's hard for me to say words that I didn't write and act as if they're words that I would normally say.
Exactly. Literally acting, portraying somebody else.
It's so much harder than stand-up. Like actors will be like, oh my God, stand-up's so scary. Like, I can't believe you do that. You're so brave, right? And I'm like, no. Acting is so hard. And I love taking acting classes. I love like learning how to act, but it is definitely not as easy to me as doing stand up.
Well, yeah,
You know?
exactly. But I've been thinking about this a lot more and more because I want to see if I still react the same way I did all those years ago, and B, like see if I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I think it is also very helpful for stand up though to like take acting classes because we're not the most animated run around stage comics.
No,
but
you and I are definitely not.
Definitely not. But like adding a little bit of that into in our stand up is good.
Well, that's one thing too. Like when I was opening for Sebastian a lot all those years ago, he's very animated and like he would say the words and the punchline would hit, but then he would do an extra couple seconds and use his whole body to act something out, and it brought the joke to another level.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so cool to watch that. And same thing with like I'm a big Brian Regan fan, and watching him act out jokes, I mean, could double or triple the laughs by facial expressions or just the way you moved your hand or your like. It's wild to me, but I'm a dumb dildo that just stands there and talks.
I used to not move at all. Like I would take the mic out of the mic stand, put it behind me, and then just stay knees locked for like 10 to 30 minutes or however long my set was, and just do the whole set like that. Words only are the laughs, And then I was like,
I believe that's called a Todd Barry.
Yeah. But no crowd work.
Okay. That came way later in his career.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But yeah, then I was like, okay, I can't do that because it looks so stiff and weird on stage, especially like once you do theaters, because the stage gets so big for you to like literally not move at all is insane.
Yeah, you have to figure out a middle ground when you do a theater too, because sometimes the stage is so big, you're like, well, I can't go corner to corner because that's just as weird as standing in the middle. So you have to just find like a little zone to just
you have to like move in the middle, kind of.
Yes, yeah. Like I'm not going to go more than 15 feet in either direction, but that's going to cover all my ground.
Exactly, because you want to like look like you're. It's like people are watching TV at this point, like at a theater. They're like, okay, you don't want to just be like a stationary dot on screen.
When you, okay, so you stood knees locked for however long. Did you see video of yourself and you're like, what am I doing? I got to move. Like, watching video of yourself, like you're like, oh my God, I do that?
Yeah, I think it was two things. It's my mother would tell me all the time. She's like, you have to move on stage. And I'd be like, yeah, I know. Like, whatever. But, it's like whenever your mom tells you something, you don't want to do it. Or you're like, you don't know what you're talking about. But then I did see a video and I was like starting to figure out how to do more movement. And I was deliberately trying to add that into my act. And then I did see a video. I did a taping for CISO. You remember CISO?
Absolutely.
This was maybe like 2016 and there was like a video of me hosting and I watched it recently and I was like, this is not good. I stood in one spot for 10 minutes and it's just like, it's so cringy to watch that. Because like, the jokes are funny, but I'm like, why do I look like that?
I hear you. So I've been doing stand-up. I'm coming up on 20 years. Actually, no. Well, yeah, 20's around the corner. I'll be 18 years next week. And like I record every single set. And when I do something new, I go back and listen. I utilize the recording very frequently. But I rarely take video of myself. And then when I do, 18 years in, I'm like, oh, fuck. I can't believe I'm not standing up straight. I can't believe I look like that. Is my shirt uneven? I'm like, what is wrong with me? So like all the audio and the words I have down pat and I'm very confident in that. But when I see a video of me still to this day, I'm like, I can't believe these people. What are they thinking when they're looking at me?
Yeah, but I guess the thing too is like when we started, everyone was just audio recording their sets. Nobody was doing video really. Just occasionally you would put up like a 5-minute clip. Now everyone's doing video all the time. There's so much video. And there's photos at like every show. So now you can really see what you look like on stage all the time. So it's like, if you start now, it's like you quickly realize like, oh, that's what I look like on stage. I had no idea. I wasn't watching video of myself.
Absolutely. Because when I first started, and even for my first couple years, cell phones were around, but not with the video capabilities. I remember I had like a camcorder I would have to put on a tripod.
Yeah. And you're like, you're not going to do that at every show.
No, that's exhausting. It's
crazy.
Absolutely exhausting. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I absolutely love having this green room chat with comics when all my buddies around the country, when we don't always meet up. It's been a long time since you and I crossed paths, but I hope we do very soon. And you plugged all your stuff. Irene Tu, thank you for being here, and crush all your headlining dates later this year.
Thank
Minneapolis,
you, Pat.
San Fran, look out.
Yes,
You
and
got it.
hopefully I'll come to Philly at some point.
You better let me know.
I'll let you know.
Cool. All right, I guess I'll do it with Pet House with Irene Tu. All right.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.